In mythology, the gods never just killed you. Killing was easy. Killing was over. When a god truly wanted to punish someone, they found a way to make the suffering last forever. Or worse, they made you do it to yourself. The most disturbing curses in mythology aren't the ones that destroyed people. They're the ones that left them fully aware of what was happening and completely unable to stop it. These are the worst of them. Prometheus stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity. Without that fire, humans had no warmth, no way to cook food, no way to forge tools, no civilization. Zeus considered this the greatest act of defiance in the history of creation. So he chained Prometheus to a rock in the Caucasus Mountains, exposed and alone, and sent an eagle to eat his liver. Every single day. Each night, the liver grew back. Each morning, the eagle returned. Prometheus was a titan, which meant he was immortal, which meant this wasn't a sentence with an end. It was eternity. He could feel every moment of it, and he never lost consciousness. And it never got easier. Some versions say he endured this for 30,000 years before Heracles finally freed him. The punishment wasn't for the crime. It was a message to anything in the universe that might consider helping humanity again. Tantalus was a king who was invited to dine with the gods on Mount Olympus. Depending on the version, he either stole the gods' food and shared their secrets with mortals, or he did something far worse. He killed his own son Pelops, cut him into pieces, cooked him, and served him to the gods as a meal to test whether they were truly all-knowing. They were. Every god recognized the meat except Demeter, who was distracted by grief and ate a piece of the boy's shoulder. Zeus reassembled the child and brought him back, but Tantalus had to answer for what he'd done. He was sent to the deepest part of the underworld and placed in a pool of water beneath a tree heavy with ripe fruit. When he bent to drink, the water receded. When he reached for the fruit, the branches pulled away. He could see and smell everything he needed to survive, and none of it would ever touch his lips. He would starve and thirst for eternity, surrounded by abundance, never able to reach any of it. The English word tantalize comes from his name. Cassandra was a princess of Troy and a priestess of Apollo. The god fell in love with her and offered her the gift of prophecy in exchange for her affection. She accepted the gift, then refused him. Apollo couldn't take the prophecy back, so instead he added a second layer. Cassandra could see the future with perfect clarity, but no one would ever believe a single word she said. She told the Trojans the Greeks were hiding inside the wooden horse. Nobody listened. She told them the city would burn. They ignored her. She watched her entire civilization walk into its own destruction while screaming the truth at people who looked at her like she was insane. After Troy fell, she was captured and eventually murdered. Cassandra's curse is one of the most psychologically cruel in all of mythology because the punishment isn't pain, it's helplessness. Knowing exactly what's coming and being completely powerless to change it. Arachne was a mortal weaver so talented that people said her work rivaled the goddess Athena. Arachne didn't deny it. She challenged Athena to a weaving contest. Both produced flawless tapestries, but Arachne's depicted the gods at their worst. Their lies, their abuse, their cruelty toward mortals. Everything she wove was true, and that made it unforgivable. Athena destroyed the tapestry and struck Arachne across the face. Arachne tried to hang herself, Athena wouldn't even let her have that. She kept her alive and transformed her into a spider, cursed to weave forever in corners and darkness, producing work that people would destroy without thinking. The thing she was best at became the thing that trapped her. That's the structure of the cruelest curses in Greek mythology. The gods didn't take your gift, they turned it against you. Erysichthon was a king who cut down a sacred grove belonging to Demeter. One of the trees bled when his axe struck it. He didn't stop. Demeter's punishment was precise. She cursed him with a hunger that could never be satisfied. He ate everything in his palace. He ate every animal on his land. He sold his own daughter into slavery to buy more food. And when there was nothing left, he began eating himself. The curse didn't kill him quickly. It let him feel every moment of the descent from a king with everything to a man consuming his own flesh in the dirt. Demeter didn't need fire or chains. She just gave him an appetite and let human nature do the rest. The curse of the house of Atreus is not one punishment. It's a bloodline. It started when Tantalus served his son to the gods, and the horror passed down through every generation after. His grandson Atreus murdered his brother's children and served them to their father at a feast. That father, Thyestes, cursed the entire house. Atreus' son Agamemnon sacrificed his own daughter Iphigenia to get favourable winds for the Trojan War. When he returned home, his wife Clytemnestra murdered him in the bath. Their son Orestes then killed Clytemnestra to avenge his father, and the Furies, ancient spirits of vengeance, drove him to madness for the crime of killing his mother. Every generation tried to end the cycle. Every generation made it worse. The curse wasn't aimed at one person. It was aimed at a family line, and it made sure that every act of loyalty or love became the next act of violence. The Ondine curse comes from European folklore. A water nymph named Ondine fell in love with a mortal knight who swore that every breath he took would be a pledge of his faithfulness. When she discovered he'd been unfaithful, she cursed him with the same words he'd used. Every breath would now require his conscious effort. If he ever fell asleep, he would stop breathing and die. The knight had to stay awake to stay alive. He fought exhaustion for as long as he could, but no human body can resist sleep forever. Eventually, he closed his eyes and his lungs simply stopped. The curse is so precisely constructed that modern medicine named a real condition after it. Ondine's curse is a rare disorder where the body loses the ability to breathe automatically during sleep. The myth became a diagnosis. Every culture that invented gods also invented a specific kind of fear, the fear of being noticed by them. The curses in mythology aren't random acts of cruelty, they're demonstrations. They show what happens when something infinitely powerful decides to make an example out of you. Subscribe if you want to see every underworld in mythology explained next. And tell me in the comments which curse you think is the most disturbing. I'll see you in that video.